Hello again. I'm Paul Thurrott, and I'm here with my wife Stephanie.
Hello.
We thought this time we would look at paying the bills. This is the first time, and not the last time, we'll be looking at this because right now it's sort of preliminary, but I think it's important to understand what this is going to cost us, which is a lot. So there are various monthly or bi-monthly or every other monthly. Is that bi-monthly?
I think, yeah, that's bi-monthly.
It was fees that are associated with the apartment. Stephanie pays the bills, so she knows a lot more about this for the most part than I do. So let's start with the big one, which is what I think of as the HOA fee, although they don't call it that there. Is there a name for this? What's this fee? It's just the
I think
monthly.
they've called it a maintenance fee, but it really includes more than just maintenance. But
Right.
when he messages me about it, he'll call it maintenance fee. But it's what we would call an HOA fee or a condo fee here. The monthly cost that you pay for the shared expenses of the property. Ours is based on the square footage of your unit, so everybody in our building pays the same amount per square foot.
What does it cover?
It covers maintenance of the building, cleaning of the common areas, 24/7 security at the front desk.
Which is actually 24/7 security. It's not a camera. It's
Yep.
a human being.
A building manager kind of person, separate from the security people who, can help out if you have any problems with the building, or the person that you contact if you have any questions,
Right.
and the water part of the bill.
Yeah. So what's the cost of
That
that?
costs, in Mexican, it costs 4,832 pesos per month, which works out to be about 240 US dollars. And so that's every month. We pay that. There's a Mexican site called MoneyPool, and we have to use MoneyPool to pay it, which I thought was a little bit different because when you pay through MoneyPool, it's a little bit like Venmo, where you see everybody else's bill and when they paid it and how long they've been paying it for. So you can
Right.
kind of see everybody else in the building, are they paying their bills on time? When did they move in? You can tell because of the first time they started paying that, which is different for me because most of our bills we pay are
Pretty
just
private.
between you and the company you're paying.
Right.
It's not a public thing.
It's a community. I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
MoneyPool was also one of those things that was a little bit difficult. It wasn't too bad, but you can't use the app in the U.S. It doesn't work on a U.S.-based phone, but there's an online MoneyPool site that does work for the U.S. So I was able to go to the MoneyPool website and
That's
then
good.
pay with a credit card on that one. That one does take a U.S.-based credit card, so that one did work out okay with a
That's good.
regular
Okay.
credit card that we already had.
Okay. So water is included with that, but electricity is not. Now this one is probably not representative of anything
Right.
because we really have only we spent about a week there, so there's not a lot of electricity usage per se. We unplugged the things that were there, so they're not sitting there taking up power. So we probably won't have an accurate one on this for some time, I guess. But this is also unique because this is the bi-monthly one or every other month. You don't actually pay this monthly, which is kind of interesting. So you've
Right.
gotten one bill so far.
Yep. Yeah, and I got one bill. It was 594 pesos, which works out to be about $30 US. And I actually think that's elevated because I think that also includes a deposit.
Yep.
Most of that money was
That's
a
right.
deposit that we won't pay every time, that we just paid for the first bill. But even so, you're paying it every other month. So if that was the bill, it would be $15 a month for electricity, which is, compared to what
That's
we pay in
silly.
the U.S., it's ridiculous.
Now, granted, we don't have air conditioning or this would be mostly just devices and
Yeah,
and I guess
the
powering the hot
fridge
water,
and the
hot
washer
water.
and the hot water heater. Actually, I think that thing's gas.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, anyway, that should never be a lot of money, I guess.
Right. The electric does have an app, so you can look on the app and you can see what you owe and how much you owe. The thing that was tricky the first time around with the electric is they take credit cards, but they only take Mexican-based credit cards. You can't pay with a US-based credit card. So
Right.
I spent a lot of time trying to, just assuming it was a specific card that wasn't working. So it's like,
Yeah.
maybe if I enter the number, maybe if I take a picture of the card and they scan it that way. Nothing was working. And I finally went online after a couple hours of trying to figure out how to pay this bill exactly, and searched, and someone else had written a blog post about how difficult it was to pay their electric bill in Mexico,
Right.
and recommended a PayPal site called, I think it's Zoom, XOOM. It's affiliated with PayPal, and you can go through that site and pay
Oh,
your electric
that's right.
bill directly.
Okay. Interesting.
So that worked. Yep.
Now, the internet, I know that the building manager or the architect or one of those people set that up for us, which was nice. I would have gone for a little faster connection, but we have a 100 megabit over 10 megabit connection, which is, acceptable. It also includes TV and a landline, which is crazy. We're not going to use probably either one of those, frankly, but that's something we can look at over time. But it was set up. It was nice. We got that done while we were there. I thought that was
Yeah.
nice just to get that in. So what does that look like?
So that one is, it's funny. They send you a bill, and if you pay it, I guess if you pay it early,
Right.
which was probably 3 weeks out from the date I got the bill, you can pay 689 pesos, which is about $35 US. If you had 8 extra days. If you wanted to pay 8 days later, you could pay 739 pesos, which is about $37 US. So you save a couple dollars paying it early. I paid it early just to kind of make sure.
Yeah. You're right. You want to make sure it's going to work, and then you have time to figure it out if it doesn't work.
And the logistics of paying that one was probably the easiest one, because you get an email with the bill, and the email says, click here to pay or to see your account. You click there, goes right to the account, and then they accept PayPal. So the other payment forms were things that wouldn't work for us, but PayPal was fast and easy, and you could just click right on that and go ahead and pay. So that one was simple.
Okay. Now, we did set up a cell phone. This is the one I actually know something about because I was involved in this one. There are various cell phone providers in Mexico, obviously. Some are more or less recommended for expats. I don't know if the other one was Telmex or Telcel. Yeah, one of those companies. But we went with AT&T, in part because there was an AT&T store right around the corner from our apartment. And this is where some of the complexities with Mexico get involved, and also the don't do what we did thing, because to get a typical AT&T month-to-month contract, normal cell phone account, you actually have to have a Mexican tax ID, which means you'd have to have some form of residency, which we don't have. However, they will allow you to get a monthly pay-as-you-go plan, which is what we did. You can pay that bill at the AT&T store or places like OXXO, which is kind of a 7-Eleven type thing that's very popular in Mexico, with cash, or you can pay it with a debit card if it's Mexican, or a credit card. And we haven't done that yet. Well, actually, I guess we technically kind of have, because we paid the initial bill at the store, and we must not. Did we?
We use cash at the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure that one out. We're going to see what that looks like. It's very inexpensive. So it's 1.5 megabits of data per month. You actually don't pay for data to social networking services. So if you use WhatsApp or Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, etc., there's no fee for that. I think there's additional services you can throw in there. You can say, I want to use YouTube or whatever, and they won't charge you for that either. Unlimited talk and text, and that's to and from the United States as well. So we can use it here with no additional fees, which is useful for calling Mexico or whatever, which would be which we haven't, but it is useful. And it's about 300 Mexican pesos per month, or about $15 for that. Just as a price comparison, I use Google Fi for my cell phone, and if I were to use 1.5, I guess it's gigabytes, or not megabytes, sorry, per month. In a month, it would cost me about $35. So it's a little over twice as expensive. So that one's not expensive, but it may be temporary. I don't know how we're going to pay this bill yet, so we need to figure that one out. So that's one we have not tried to do yet from here. We should look at that soon. Right?
Yep.
And speaking of unknowns, there is one bill that you haven't gotten the bill for yet, I guess.
Right.
Which is gas.
Right. So I'm assuming the gas bill comes monthly, but I've been checking in with our building manager, and he says the gas bill hasn't come in yet. It's a little bit over 5 weeks since we closed on the property and took possession, so
Yep.
that bill should be coming anytime, I think. So we don't expect that will be very expensive, but it might be a little bit difficult logistically because it doesn't seem like there's any app or online way to pay the gas bill. I guess people pay them in person at an OXXO or local bank or something like that. For this first time around, I'm going to be back in Mexico City next week, so I'm hoping the bill will come when I'm there, or I can figure out how to pay it when I'm there. And then maybe I'll pay for 2 or 3 months to cover us until the next time we're there, so we don't have to worry about figuring out how to pay it remotely, because if we can't do that, we might have to, ask someone to pay it for us and pay them back, or, which is,
Yeah, not great.
people will do it once or
But-
twice, but they don't want to pay your gas
Yeah,
bill every month.
yeah.
So.
And this is why we need to get residency and get that tax ID and a bank account and all the things we need to do that
Yep.
we should have done first but didn't. So that's the monthly stuff, right? So there's the HOA fee, the electricity, the internet, cell phone, and eventually I guess there'll be 2 cell phones probably, and then the gas. But actually there is one more bill because we didn't have $280,000 in cash, and so we paid for this, so to speak, using our home equity line of credit, which means we have to pay at least the interest every month on this while we're still living in this house, right? Once
Yeah.
this place gets sold, if we ever move or whatever, we'll have to pay off the home equity to make that happen, and then we will own that place outright, which will be nice. But in the meantime, we have a pretty significant bill. In fact, I think this bill is
Adds up to more than all these other ones combined.
easily. And what is that? You do
That's
the-
about $850 a month
yeah.
on the interest on the equity line, which has a relatively low interest rate
Right.
for now, at least. But yeah, until we, sell our house in Pennsylvania and then pay off both properties,
Yep.
we'll take that hit every month for right now.
Yeah, so 3, I'm just trying to add that we don't know what gas is, but I think it's fair to say we're looking at about $1,200 a month all in for everything, including the home equity, which allowed us to make this happen. So that's
Yep.
where we're at. I think we'll check in on this monthly thing again, because this is going to evolve. It's going to go up and down as we use the place. It's going to change a little bit as we get our residency and our tax ID, and maybe this
Yep.
becomes more streamlined as well. So
Yeah, and most of it is very complicated the first time because
yeah,
they don't look at you need a Mexican phone number, you need a Mexican credit card, you need a Mexican bank account number. But with the exception of the gas that we haven't paid yet, we've been able to figure out how to work around all of these things. And then
Yeah.
going forward, it should be easier because now we know how to do it.
it's
But
always easier when you know how to do it.
right, yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
it took me the whole afternoon to pay the electric bill the first time.
Yeah, which actually, makes the cost of that kind of hilarious because, I don't know what your time's worth exactly, but the $30 bill for 2 months and you spend half a
Half a day
Yeah.
figuring out how to pay it. Yeah,
We'll get there. It's okay.
we'll get there.